Your September 6th edition of AM Sports Live is now on the air. Hello there, everybody. I am Andrew Goldstein, and welcome to the show. No housekeeping items to report for the first time in a long time, so let's just get right into part two of our NFL kickoff special here. Along with me, as always, I have Matt Markow and Ray Caglianone. Guys, how you doing?
Good. I feel like we need to have an announcer for the show. Instead of live
Like
from
the
New York.
Saturday Night Live
Yeah, yeah,
guy?
yeah. Live from New Jersey. It's AM Sports Live.
I would like if a technically savvy listener out there can refer me to some way to kind of alter my voice to sound like that guy and record like a 20-second clip to put over the intro, comment, drop me a comment in our little thought bubble message board that we have going on the side here because I'd be into that.
Or the guy that does the movie trailers. The In a World where. Oh, actually, he's doing more TV now, I've noticed, because movie
Wait,
trailers.
is that just one guy or is that multiple
Oh, it's definitely
guys?
just one
It's the
guy.
same guy. It's been the same guy for like 30 years.
He monopolized the profession.
Yeah.
Do you think it's like
He's a billionaire now.
do you think it like runs in the family? Like his son has the same deep voice, and he'll be doing movies in 2020.
Yeah,
or
right out
something?
of the womb, he started crying, and it sounded like he was announcing the trailer for Independence Day or something. It was really weird. I don't, yeah, but no, I think that guy.
I want that guy's voice.
Yeah, he cornered the market very early, and it was smart because now he's the only guy that ever does any voiceovers. Oh, actually. John Hamm and John Krasinski from The Office do crappy Kia commercials.
Yeah.
And John Slattery does
Yeah.
some, I think Mercedes-Benz or something.
Yeah,
The Mad Men actors get a lot of it.
yeah. But besides that, no other voices.
I feel like maybe that's when you know you've arrived as an actor or a director when you can get that guy to do your voiceovers. Like I imagine the crappy indie directors of like some low budget movie contacting that guy and being like, "Hey, we need you to come do the voiceover for our trailer," and then being like, no, I only do this for, you know,
Well, I'm sure he's done a voiceover over many a bad movie just by the sheer volume of movies that he's done.
oh, that's true. I mean, early in his career, he had to do some for bad movies.
Sure, exactly. But yeah, it's like John Hamm starting out he was in some bad soap opera when he first started out. I don't know if you've heard anything about that, but
No.
yeah, actors have to
Wasn't he in a couple of them?
yeah, actors have to do some stupid stuff in the beginning before they get their big break, but
Yeah, like they had to go down to Disney and play Goofy for a year or star
I don't know
in.
about that.
that's
bad.
oddly specific. I don't know. Do you have
And-
anyone specifically in mind when you say
Well,
that?
actually, I was listening to a BS report like a couple months ago, and
What's the BS report?
Bill Simmons'
Who is that?
podcast.
I don't know that name.
Hey, stop hating on my man crush, Bill Simmons.
Okay.
Not Anthony Jeselnik?
Not Anthony Jeselnik, who I was surprisingly rude to last time, and for that I apologize, Anthony Jeselnik.
He's never coming on the show.
Damn
Ever.
it. All right, you're still ugly. That was just kind of a
Oh.
bait to get you on the show, Anthony Jeselnik. But I don't even know how we got off on this discourse.
You were
but,
talking about somebody in a goofy costume.
Oh
at
yeah,
Disneyland.
yeah, but Bill Simmons a couple months ago was he was outlining his idea, if you can believe this, for a crime-based amusement park called Felony Land. And he said, by the way, you know how actors do, break into the industry by going to Disney World and playing Goofy for a year? Which was a little bit of a shock to me because that's the first time I heard that.
I don't think
too.
that's a common thing at all. I think
All
that's
right.
kind of just a non sequitur.
Well, just tell Bill Simmons that, not me. I'm just getting my information from
Hold on,
highly
I have him
reputable
on speed
sources.
dial. I'll call him up right now.
Mhm.
Hey, Bill. Hey, everyone. I'm sorry, I can't do a Simmons impression, but
You're not
yeah.
Cousin Sal.
No Pats.
that's as good as it gets there. But yeah,
Oh, by the way, if you hear some, phones or vacuum cleaners going off in the distance,
vibrating something. I don't
yeah,
know what-
that's
Don't
that
get
we
your
have
mind out of the gutter there,
we
Goldstein.
we have cleaning people over and they are doing their thing, so we don't get to control what the audio receiver on this computer picks up, and we wish we were technically proficient or enough, or at least I do, to edit this stuff out, but I'm not. So you're just gonna have to live with it. Sorry, listener.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm sorry, it's tough
Hear
love
that
for the
sound?
listener.
Hear that sound? That's the sound of listeners turning off the AM Sports Live right now.
Does that have a sound?
Oh, I'm sorry. My head is just being assaulted. My ears are being assaulted by this vibration. But yeah.
All right, NFL. I'm gonna just get off that.
Is there a barber shop upstairs, or are we cleaning a house? I'm not sure what's going on.
All right, it's gone now.
Yes.
All right, at least a little bit. And it's back. Okay. NFL, Baltimore, Denver opened the season last night. First, you had the weather delay with the lightning in the area and all.
I hadn't heard. The NFL's back? I
Yeah,
hadn't heard anything
NFL's
about that.
back.
What's the NFL?
You didn't watch any of like the dozens
The
and
National
dozens
Foosball League?
Yeah, that's it.
By the way, is there a National Foosball League?
Oh,
That
this-
sounds pretty cool.
Foosball is very popular, Andrew. I'm sure there's a National Foosball League.
That's true.
I can't imagine that there wouldn't be a National Foosball League. But all right, Ravens Broncos opens the season last night. Peyton Manning goes off 7 touchdowns. Fantasy football wise, this is one of the greatest performances we've ever seen from a quarterback. Who started Peyton Manning in our league?
Nobody.
Oh, yes, that's right.
Well, I think the person that had Peyton Manning also had some other top tier
Aaron
quarterback,
Rodgers, I think.
which is how the draft went this year. So that just tells you there's 2 teams with 4 top level quarterbacks between them. So
And probably no running backs.
And
No.
Lusaka Play is rostered.
Lusaka play Raymond Weber is also rostered.
yeah, we pulled out all the stops for this draft. I mean, really, this was our shining moment.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think what happened with the Peyton Manning guy was he was trying to bid up the price on one of them because we did an auction draft and nobody followed him, so he ended up getting stuck with one of them. I forget which. But, I had the brilliant idea to invite people over to my house to have the fantasy football draft. You know, we had pizza, we had some snacks, and we had a nice fantasy football draft. I thought that was a fantastic idea. But then stuff went wrong with my Wi-Fi. That it was a bad idea.
Yeah,
all
I'm really
told.
surprised this isn't conking out right now. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my internet is notoriously bad.
Well, and it's also cruel because I was able to connect for like 5 minutes before the draft. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. And then it just cut out on you.
And 30 seconds to go, cuts out. And I pop back in 5 minutes later. I spend $61 on Marshawn Lynch, which I wouldn't be so upset about if Adrian Peterson didn't go for 62. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're gonna get one for that price, you might as well get Adrian Peterson. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
It's so, I mean, and that kind of ruined my strategy because I wasn't looking at Marshawn Lynch anyway, but I mean, no one wants to hear about my fantasy draft. So,
Mhm.
Well, what confuses me, Andrew, is we know your Wi-Fi is not so reliable.
Okay.
We've been at your house. I think it's at like 11 at night. Wi-Fi turns off, and you're just like, oh yeah, that happens every night.
I swear to you, every time at a certain stretch of time, like it usually happens around 9:30, it cuts out for like 4 or 5 minutes mysteriously and then turns back on.
So we know it's very temperamental.
Hmm
either your house is haunted or your Wi-Fi sucks.
Or both. But that's the thing. I held the fantasy draft at my house last year and nothing bad happened. Like everybody connected okay. But it was like 2 minutes to draft time. People had to like convert their phones into mobile hotspots and which drained the battery, and Ray had to make a heroic run for charging cables back to his house.
By the way, worst horror movie ever. Every night at 11 o'clock, a
The
ghost will
Wi-Fi
turn off your Wi-Fi.
for 5 minutes.
I mean, that is just a lazy ghost right there. He doesn't want to be bothered really doing any damage, right?
Exactly. It's kind of like the most underwhelming version of The Purge ever.
Yeah, it's like you know how like when people die in a house, like they come back and haunted.
Uh-huh.
I'm guessing this person just kind of stubbed a toe or something, and so he's kind of just mildly annoying you.
Yeah, like I'm gonna turn off your Wi-Fi for 5 minutes. How you
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
All right.
Could have been someone in the draft, actually.
No, well,
Is
that
anyone,
that could have been my master plan. Just invite you all here, cut off your internet, so you just had to watch me pick the greatest fantasy team of all time.
Good thing it ended up where your team is middle of the pack, I would say.
It's not bad. I'm fairly happy with my team.
No Mark Ingram starting this year. Which
Oh
is a
yeah,
step
Mark
up.
Ingram started for me twice in the past 2 years, and each time I have regretted it
When he
dearly.
says twice, he doesn't mean 2 weeks. He means
Like
2 full years.
not 2 full years, just like for I think my first year he started like half the season, and my second year he started like 4 or 5 games. Either way, the marking room experience is not one I want to go
Fool
through
me
again.
once, Andrew.
Mm-hmm. That I
Fool me
did.
twice, strike three.
Yes.
Michael Scott quotes are abundant here on AM Sports Live.
Yes, well, anyway, about the game last night, and even going along with the fantasy theme. First half, even though Peyton was going off, and he was throwing touchdown. I have Demarius Thomas on my team, and he was throwing touchdowns galore to a Thomas.
To
all right?
Julius Thomas.
But it was to Julius
the
Thomas.
third string tight end going into the preseason.
And I was going absolutely insane, and I was overreacting to the. I've never reacted this way before. I draft my team. I'm very patient to make trades, but for some reason, because of the Marshawn Lynch thing and whatever, I wasn't totally happy with my team. I really wanted to shake it up, and especially because Demarius was doing jack last night, and
Plus
in
it's
the first half. Let's be fair.
And plus,
here.
it's instinct. Football hasn't been around for 7 months. You get excited, you pick a fantasy team, you watch your first game. Your instinct says, all right, it's time to do something. I want to make a trade now.
I was messaging two people trying to get trades going for Demarius, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter he goes off.
He
and then
scores
the rest of the
two
game,
garbage time touchdowns.
He ends up with like 160 yards and 2 touchdowns, and that'll be the last time I try to make a panic trade in the first week of the first game of the season. So
first half of the
first
week.
half of the first game of the first week of the season. So I was stupid, but yeah, I'm gonna stick out Demarius now. He's a made guy, as they say in the mafia.
I'll still take him off your hands if you don't want him.
He's a made guy.
He's a made guy. Yeah, you don't want to be trading for made guys. Yeah.
All right, NFL
I
wins.
hear he's a rat, actually.
Oh, we're not gonna go into the whole Joe Pesci diatribe, are we?
Apparently, these two idiots spent 20 solid minutes just Facebook messaging each other Joe
that's
Pesci
an
quotes.
exaggeration. Try 3 minutes.
It was just 3 minutes. You made that Joe Pesci exchange sound way more dramatic than it was.
No.
No. Drinks are on the house. Well, listen.
You'll get out of line yourself, okay?
As good as Ray's Joe Pesci impression is Christopher Walken is a sight to behold.
A sound even
A
to
sound
behold.
to
And the
be-
sight's even better.
Yes, but
Andrew.
you were talking about Peyton Manning, fantasy star.
Fantasy Star, he looked fantastic last night. He got off to a bit of a rough start.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, I'm trying to kind of recall what he did in the first quarter because he had
Not much.
a few good passes to Wes Welker, but that's it.
It was a
he
very
mi-
slow start for both offenses.
He missed a few receivers on some easy routes, but then he just started getting protected and he just let loose. That was just unbelievable. And I'm still worried about the neck surgeries. I'm still worried that he's 37, 38 years old, but you know, it just kind of left me speechless last night around the fifth or sixth touchdown that somebody who's that old and had that much mileage on him can still be doing so well and could continue to be so good at a job that requires probably one of the most unique mixes of physical skills, brains, just everything.
Are we done with
He's
the
still
Peyton
doing it.
Manning love right now? I mean, come on. It's Peyton Manning. We haven't heard this all before.
Oh, you think that I was complimenting Peyton Manning? Just wait until Matt Sims starts for the Jets and does like half well.
Oh.
I'm gonna be purchasing something like 200 Matt Sims rookie cards off eBay.
By the way, ESPN's finally retiring the butt fumble from. I read on ESPN. It made the top 10 for 40 straight weeks.
Why
or
did something dethrone it?
No, 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 nothing dethroned it. They were just like, this is retiring as the champ. Nothing will ever be more embarrassing than a quarterback running into his own offensive lineman's ass and fumbling.
Although if they were to vote again, we have another good candidate from
Ooh.
last night's game. What was the guy's name, Andrew?
We had. Well, first you had Wes Welker botching the punt.
No,
Then
but that happens all the time, though.
Then Danny Trevathan. I'm not
Danny
sure if
Trevathan.
I'm not sure if his first name's Danny, but I know that his last name's Trevathan. Let me
Trevathan's
look
claim
this
to
up.
fame.
All right, let me look this
Yeah,
up.
he pulled
Trevathan.
a Deshaun Jackson, for those of you who
Danny
don't know.
Trevathan. Yes, Danny Trevathan. Essentially, here's what happens. So, and I think that the only thing that would save him from either earning the worst of the worst or getting cut immediately is that the Broncos were. There's no way they were losing anyways at that point. But he intercepts Joe Flacco, and there's nothing between him and the end zone, just clear path. He starts high stepping his way in, and he drops the ball at like the 3 yard line, and not like the ball slips out of his hands. He just like
He tries
drops
to spike
it.
it, basically, or just kind of,
He just kind of let go.
yeah,
Just
he just
like-
kind of like,
And he's like doing. He was like all the way through his touchdown dance before he realized that wasn't a
He
touchdown.
committed two football crimes. One, he did a stupid thing and got rid of the ball before he crossed the end zone, which is
Mhm.
look. Anyone who's watched any football,
That's
last few years, we
unforgivable.
all know Deshaun Jackson. That happened to him twice. Once in college, one in the NFL.
yes.
If you
Well-
know anything, you know not to do that. And
Mhm.
two, the celebration was awful. All he did was drop the ball. I mean,
No, he dropped the ball, and then I think he tried to do some kind of dance in the end
no, you
zone.
got to incorporate the ball somehow, like the best of the Chad Ochocinco era with the putting, or T.O. with the push-ups.
Well, you can't do that anymore because the NFL will fine you $30,000
Well,
because
you'd rather. I'm
Roger
sure,
Goodell is the
Small
worst.
price to pay for
Yeah.
your first career pick six.
Right now, I'm sure he's thinking, I'd rather be fined $30,000 than have every coach on the football team yell at me for almost turning this game around.
Exactly, and if you remember last year when David Wilson fumbled the ball in the first game and then didn't see the field for like half the year, if
Oh, yeah.
that's David Wilson's punishment, I want to know what the punishment for this is going to be. Do you not, like, if you were a coach, and keep in mind that Danny Trevathan's nothing special, he's just first-year guy, I think, he made the team, he's kind of a replacement level player, as much as I can deduce.
Bringing out the sabermetric vocabulary.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Is this worth an entire year's benching? Like, all right, just
I
Sit
think
down.
they already said the punishment is going to be he has to stand next to John Fox with like a can so John Fox can spit his tobacco into there every 5 minutes. That's
Hey,
gonna be
that's
his job.
that's like the clipboard guy, but worse.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
much worse.
much worse.
Okay. NFL wins pool time. You ready?
Oh, is that all we're going to talk about the game? Because
Oh.
I want to talk about how much the Ravens got screwed last night. They had to play on the road to open up the
Oh, that's
season.
true.
They're the Super Bowl champs.
Mhm.
Disgusting. Disgraceful. And I hate the Ravens, but it's just not fair that the Super Bowl champ has to open up on the road against the team that was clearly out for blood because of the AFC Championship.
Well, they asked the
AFC
Orioles
division
if they
game
would
last
move
year.
the game, and the Orioles said no. So,
But they don't play in the same stadium.
no, but
so
they
who
use the
cares?
same. They use the same facilities. They would use the same parking lots. They would use they'd be in close proximity to each other. So there's no way you could fit
You know what?
like the volume of fans.
Good for the Orioles, because this is a pennant race in baseball. They're right out of the AL East, really the wild card race. And you know what? The football season's starting anew. It doesn't matter that the Ravens were champions anymore.
Well,
It's a new
yes, it
season.
does.
Like, here's
of course
here's-
it matters.
No, it doesn't.
I'm taking the middle road. Here's what I'm saying. I'm saying because the Orioles are good this year, they don't have to roll over for the Ravens. If the Orioles were like a 90 or 100 loss team like they were in previous years, you better cancel that game for
No,
the Super Bowl
the Orioles
champions.
haven't won anything in like 30 years. The Ravens won a Super Bowl.
The Orioles got
You
to the
move.
playoffs last year. They had a good 5-game set against
Yeah.
the Yankees.
When's
It
the
was
last
a
time they
very
won a
good
World Series with Jim Palmer in the 80s?
All right, it's been a while, but
Come on.
I don't like the Orioles. Actually, I hate the Orioles now again, which is nice to say because there's a rivalry back. But look, the Orioles are playing for something. They're playing for the playoffs. This is big. They can
selling out
move
crowds. One game out of 162.
No.
The football is 16 games.
I know they have 16 games.
At
but
8 home games.
Week 1, Matt, and all right, the Ravens team is barely the same team it was last year. Sure,
They
they're
still
champions.
won the
It doesn't-
GD Super
That
Bowl.
doesn't matter anymore. It just doesn't matter.
Yes, it does. Of course.
I think it matters, but
How many teams get to the Super Bowl and then miss the playoffs the next year? I mean, it doesn't. There's no relationship.
If you ask people in
It doesn't
Baltimore
matter.
who
The
do they
Giants.
care about the Ravens or the Orioles more, I'm sure a much
How about
higher
you
percentage of people.
Ask the Orioles front office who they care. If I was the Orioles front office,
What are they gonna say?
I don't
The
care
Ravens?
if they have 100
well, also,
losses, they
you
should
know, the
fight
Orioles
every-
are run by like one of the worst owners in sports, Peter Angelos.
All right, that's completely
So-
irrelevant to this discussion.
That's
yeah,
true.
But that's the thing.
I
What
didn't even know that, but I agree wholeheartedly.
No, it's just the Orioles. I like it. They're fighting for their home team. They're fighting for the playoffs, and they deserve to play at home. In front
No,
of their
Oh,
fans.
one
since-
game
since
out of
they're good.
162. One game out of 162
No.
isn't going to make a difference.
But
One
they're-
game out of 16 might make a difference, especially when it's the opening game of the
It's
season
week one.
and you're the Super Bowl champs.
You're not the Super Bowl
You've
champs
earned
anymore.
a home
Matt,
game.
Here's the important distinction. You're not the Super Bowl champs anymore. You're the champs of nothing unless you went 4-0 in the preseason. When congratulations,
What?
you're the
No.
0-16
No.
Lions.
preseason doesn't matter at all.
That's what I just said, Andrew. The 0-16 Lions won the preseason.
No.
It was a joke, okay?
You're saying that
No,
doesn't
it does
that-
matter that you're the champs.
Yeah, of course it matters. Then what's the big? Then you
So-
don't. You win the Super Bowl.
alright.
It only matters for that one day, and then the season ends after that, so it doesn't matter.
No, if you're the Super Bowl champs, you celebrate and you get the whole offseason to bask in the glory of the
They
Vince
have to
Lombardi
get the home
trophy.
game to have the banners put up and the celebration, and it's just only fair that if every other team that's won the Super Bowl before gets a home game to start out the season, you should also.
Is that true? Has every other team?
Or if, at least
Yes.
in the past. In the
And
past,
since 2006.
Yes.
Or 2005, I think.
yeah.
Okay.
It's just only baseball is 162 games. One game doesn't matter. Football is 16
Matt,
games. That one game could
in
matter.
September, every game matters for the Orioles. If we're talking
No.
about the Seattle Mariners, sure, no. But we're talking
No.
about the Baltimore Orioles, and they're in a four-team race in the AL East and in the AL wild card.
Well, that's the thing.
Okay.
Since the Orioles are drawing people to their stadium, they're competitive, and this one game might actually matter to them, I have no problem with it. Like I said, if they were in last place and not drawing people to their stadium, they better get the hell out of the way.
Drawing
for the
people to their
Ravens.
stadium, I guarantee you, twice the amount of people would be in M&T Bank Field or whatever the Baltimore.
Yeah, M&T
stadium-
That's
Bank.
probably because it can hold twice as many people.
They would be there. Then they would rather be there than the Orioles Park. I guarantee you that.
Doesn't matter. The Orioles front office doesn't care about that. They care about putting the best product on the field and winning.
Great. Well, how many people
winning in
watched
the
the
playoffs.
Orioles game last night, and how many people watched the Broncos Ravens game? Why don't
It
you look
doesn't
up those
matter.
numbers?
It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. You know what I did? I watched the Yankees and I watched this football game. You know, you can flip channels on the TV now. It's not like 1950 where you have to go to the TV and turn the knob. Oh man, oh my hands hurt so much. I'm turning this knob. No, you got a
Get that
remote
drop.
control. You got a remote control. You flip the channels, man. It's possible now.
All right, well, NFL
you just
wins.
keep turning
it's
your
NFL
knobs,
wins.
okay?
It's NFL
I
wins.
like turning the
sports
knobs.
Yeah,
It makes me
okay.
feel like I'm doing something. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm just a lazy bum. I like the remote. Okay, Matt. Just to review before you make your first pick. Matt has Denver, so he got his first win, and he has Houston, Philadelphia, and Detroit.
That's a quality selection.
That is a
right
quality.
there.
Quality.
No.
I think.
Awful.
No, I actually think it's quality besides Philly, which he reached on. I got Seattle, New Orleans, Baltimore, Dallas. Ray has San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincinnati, Kansas City. And I actually think that's probably the best one out of the four so far. Then Liam has Green Bay, New England, Indy, Washington. But second day of the NFL wins pool, it's almost always the team you pick in like the second to last round that has a fluke 10-6 season that ends up winning you the pool. So today is probably the most important day of the wins pool out of the two. So with that in mind, Matt, make your first selection.
Okay, so there's only there's a lot of these teams left that are kind of middle of the pack. They could go 10-6. They could go 6-10. It's
Mhm.
really a crapshoot at this point.
Or if
but-
you're the Jets, you could go 0-16.
well, no, I'm just talking about there's about 8 or so teams.
Oh,
left
okay,
that could go either way.
We still have a little while to go before we get to the sell.
Oh, the Jets are gonna be Jets and Oakland are gonna be the last two teams picked. I mean,
Maybe
there's
Jack-
no question about that.
No, I think Jacksonville could be maybe the last team picked.
All right. Well, you're a Jets homer, so I don't. Whatever you say.
Once again, 1-15. That's all I'm asking for this season.
You know what?
Look, when they win
Wait,
a game, they're going to
I
be
took
calling
Detroit.
playoffs.
You have to,
No, I want
I
Jadavian.
picked Detroit. You
Oh,
have to
right.
cross Detroit off the list.
Oh, come on.
4,
Lazy.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yeah.
11, 12, 13. Yes, you're right. Cross Detroit off.
So I think this year, well, the Vikings I think aren't going to be. I'm not going to pick the Vikings. Let me see. You know what? I think this is the year that the Panthers overcome their weak
Ooh.
defense. They overcome their lack of receivers besides Steve Smith. Cam takes a leap. I really want a Cam this year, but yeah, I think the Panthers are going to make the leap this year. And I know they play in a tough division. I know that. You can.
I know that actually Football Outsiders released their playoff odds thing, and they actually had Carolina at the top of the South. Which
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that happening
No.
either, but kind of makes you think. You know,
Makes me think
It
they
makes
don't
me
know
think
what they're
Football
talking about.
Outsiders, are absolutely insane.
hey, they they nailed Indy last
No,
year. They
that's,
said
that's all
Indy's
punk
surprised.
science over there, right?
Hey,
That's
hey,
the punk
don't
science purveyors.
don't diss the sabermetric football people. They are awesome.
Ray's just got a problem with sabermetrics in general.
No, I don't.
Uh-huh.
I heard that podcast about the Mike
Yeah.
Trout and the Miguel
That wasn't.
Cabrera.
I don't have a problem with it. It's just
Yeah,
the
okay.
happy medium between the two.
If,
All right,
if
well,
Keith
Carol-
Law was sitting across the table right now, you'd reach over and try to strangle him, I bet.
I said I like Keith Law.
Yeah,
now.
okay,
He
okay.
respects his fans. He's a good guy.
Yeah, the law
But
firm,
Miguel
Keith
Cabrera is
Law.
still the MVP.
All right, so Carolina, you
Got
think
off
they're going to
track
make
there.
the leap?
Yes,
Ryan-
Carolina.
Oh, they have Ryan Khalil back, one of their all-star offensive linemen. Their center, he was injured for all
I
last
mean, their
year.
defense is just awful in the secondary. It's
Mhm.
just awful. Teams are gonna throw all day on them.
Right,
And the receivers besides Steve Smith are just awful.
but still, they could pull out 7 or 8 wins. In fact, let me take a look at their schedule. All right, let me type this in.
Yeah, get Danny Trevathan off of there. He ruined the.
Okay,
He took away 6 points from me. I had the Broncos defense. But yeah.
All right, no one wants to hear about your fantasy team, man.
No, they don't.
Okay.
You're right.
They open with a tough game, home for Seattle.
Okay.
Then
That's gonna be a good game. By the
that
way.
will be a good game.
I'd rather watch that than Giants Cowboys at 8 at
Absolutely.
Sunday night. I don't care.
Also,
about
just as an aside, it's always entertaining when the announcers plug things that either A, they have no clue about, or B, they obviously don't want to plug. And just the utter disgust in Chris Collinsworth's voice every time he had to mention that Carrie Underwood was opening for the Giants Cowboys game was just hilarious.
Their song is awful, by the way, this year. The NFL on Sunday Night song. It's so annoying. It's so
different.
Oh, I
annoying.
didn't hear
Wait,
it.
it's different from past years?
I think it is.
It's
Isn't
not.
It?
It's not set to the tune of "I Hate Myself for Loving You" anymore.
No,
That they
it's
hope
like
that
the-
people under 40 don't realize that.
It's like the NFL. I'm not gonna sing it. I don't have the voice of Carrie Underwood, unfortunately. Maybe one day, but
That's probably a fortunate thing.
Voice
that you-
modifiers can make it possible.
Exactly.
So, send
If there are
those
any listeners out there who know how to make my voice sound like the movie trailer guy and Matt's voice sound like Carrie Underwood, drop us a message. Email us at
What about me?
amsportslive@gmail.com.
What voice do I get?
Christopher Walken.
I already got that.
yeah, he's
I'll
already
think of
cut that
something.
down. I mean,
Bill Simmons.
No, I don't want Bill Simmons' voice.
was it Joe? That was Bill Pesci right there. That was like a combo of.
Bill Pesci.
It's like a
All right.
combo there.
So Carolina home for Seattle, at Buffalo, home for New York. That's another good one. The divisional games are tough, obviously.
New York.
New
York.
Oh, please stop.
Bum,
Splits against Tampa, splits against New Orleans, splits against Atlanta. They play the entire NFC West.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to that
Entire
New
AFC
England game
East.
on Monday night.
Panthers, New England. That's going to be entertaining. So, I think it's definitely possible for the Panthers to go 8-8.
You know
I like
how every city has a song about it, like Boston has shipping up to Boston, New York has
A song that you have just utter contempt
Yeah.
for.
New York has New York, New York. And,
New York has too many songs named
yeah,
after
yeah, yeah,
it.
and LA has I Love LA by Randy Newman or something, and
San Francisco has
yeah, I left my heart in San. But
Oh,
you never,
Chicago. I need for
you never
Chicago.
hear one about
My
Cleveland.
Kind of Town.
Oh.
You never hear
Sinatra.
one about Cleveland. Yeah.
No, actually, there's a song called Cleveland Rocks. Swear to God.
It
was the-
is that an ironic? Is that like a Weird Al song or something?
Maybe it is, but it was in the soundtrack to an MLB game I played. Look it up if you don't believe
Yeah,
it.
and how did that go? LeBron leaves us. I haven't won a championship in 30 years. The
Yeah.
weather is terrible.
You want me to put it on? I can put it on. I'm not even
No,
kidding right
please,
now.
please don't. All right.
No, the audio quality would be terrible.
Yeah, the audio quality
The-
would be
well,
terrible
the
if you're holding
chorus
your
just
phone.
consists of them saying Cleveland rocks over and over again.
Because they have nothing else positive to say.
Yeah.
Well, there's the verses for that stuff.
All right.
I forget
Well,
what they point out. I mean, the river on fire might have been in there somewhere. I forget what, but
all right. So you got Carolina,
Yes.
and somehow we ended up talking about Cleveland.
Cleveland rocks.
Oh,
I
but I
love
was
that.
talking about Cleveland because you're in love with Cleveland this year.
Yeah.
The Browns.
And I'm hoping they fall to me
Well,
the
Liam has
next
them
round.
low, very low.
Uh-huh. He does have them pretty
Well, anyway,
low.
it's your pick.
Okay, I'm up next. Huh. Wary about taking this next team,
Don't do it.
but
Don't.
I've
Ooh.
I've gotta. New York Giants.
Oh!
Glad it
New
wasn't
York
me.
Giants.
This is another team that's just like they're not going to go more than 7 and 9 and 9 and 7. I mean,
Like I said on the last show, it's going to be one of those Tom Coughlin years where everyone's going out for his head, and then next year he'll probably win the Super Bowl. But this year, everyone will be wanting to fire Tom Coughlin, the whole New York media.
I don't know about that.
Yeah,
That's how it
but
always works. He
Yeah,
doesn't
but would
deserve
you-
it.
No, the New York media is concentrating on firing Rex Ryan right now.
Well, if they can take a break from that, they'll focus on
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin.
yeah, once Rex inevitably goes, they're gonna go on Tom Coughlin.
Over
next.
under week 10 on Rex leaving.
Also,
I think he stays.
no, I think he
No,
stays
he's
at least
gone.
through the end of the season.
He's gone.
If for no other reason than
If they-
firing coaches in the middle of the season doesn't happen a ton anymore.
If they start out 0-6, let's say, they lose their first 6 games. You think
Okay.
he's gone?
No, I think they wait until the end of the season.
Yeah, I'm with Andrew on this.
All right.
Yeah, because there's really no benefit to giving an interim coach power and then just yanking it away from him anymore.
But I mean, if they totally quit on Rex and then they bring an interim coach in and they kind of play for him, you
Then-
have to keep him,
But if
right?
there's no shot at playoffs, then it doesn't really
Well,
matter.
What? Okay, so they quit on Rex. They have an atrocious record, and they get Jadeveon Clowney. There you go.
Davian Clowney looked awful in week 1.
Well,
Just throwing
there
that
was
out
some.
there.
Well, there are some reports that he has stomach virus the night
Oh,
before.
stomach virus.
There are multiple witnesses
Look,
to
Andrew,
confirm.
the greats, they don't listen to that stomach virus.
Him and Johnny Manziel were dehydrated.
Oh yeah, very dehydrated.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that happens to every 21-year-old athlete that's in incredible shape.
Yeah,
they
you
just
know.
get dehydrated all the time.
It's just a
you know?
night out of not drinking water really
Yeah.
took its toll.
Yeah,
And apparently-
That's all they did all
And
night
apparently,
long,
Johnny
not
Manziel
drink
never
water.
had the sense to, if he was feeling dehydrated, not go on a plane and fly home, but instead go to the sideline and take a drink. But New York Giants, I can't imagine that they'd go less than 7-9.
Yeah.
They're an 8-8 team, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I
at
don't know.
at worst 9
They
7-9.
play, but
I
listen,
see some good upside.
here's
there,
my
though.
logic against
and they're
them, though.
playing 6 games against 3 teams that could really go either way.
They could go either way, but RG3 comes back completely healthy this year. The Redskins have another great year. The Cowboys put it together this year. They have a good year. The Eagles, the Chip Kelly offense runs rampant over the NFL.
Hopefully.
They have a good year.
Let-
The Giants, that's bad news right there.
Let me rebut all of those points. The Redskins were like 10-6 or 9-7 last
10 and
year.
6.
10-6. Their defense is still atrocious. Nobody can cover anybody in the secondary. So the Giants can beat them, and in fact they have. The Cowboys, we've been waiting for them to quote unquote put it all together for like ever now, and they haven't done it. So the odds that they're finally
They're
going to get
a
it
decent
now-
regular season team.
They're a
though.
decent regular season team, but when you say put it all together, it's not like they're going to go 13-3 and
They
feel
went
like a
13-3
juggernaut.
before.
They went to 13-3 in 2007, and that's it. They've never had anything approaching that performance before.
11 games, 10 games. They've won. in that
They've been
area.
okay. And then the Eagles are still a sleeper.
Yeah,
You
that's
know.
why I picked them. I reached for them in round 3, for God's sake.
Mm-hmm. So,
Oh, by the way, Ray, I was
so the
watching-
Giants could go one way or they could go completely the other way. Just want to get that point in there
Rudely
before.
interrupted.
Yeah, I was watching the Ravens Broncos game, and the Ravens really have a really boring offense. I mean, they're one of those teams. Them and the Bengals are like the good team. They're good teams, but they're just awful to watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm spoiled because I'm used to watching the Patriots and they run all the time. They snap the ball within 5 seconds. You know what I mean? It's the most
Mhm.
exciting offense in the NFL. And I'm thinking like Ray's gonna be spoiled this year because he's gonna finally see what it's like to run that hurry up offense, and it's really a treat.
Yeah.
I don't appreciate it, but the Patriots they run the best offense in the NFL.
You
It's
think that
definitely
watching
fun.
you think that watching the Ravens offense is brutal? Try watching the Jets offense
No,
for
no,
the
no. I
past
mean,
4
in terms
years.
of good
Yeah.
teams.
Oh,
In
in terms of good teams.
Yeah.
Speaking of their offense, the more I see Joe Flacco play, the more his contract just looks laughable.
Yeah.
It's the most an athlete's ever gotten paid for 1 month.
I
The
know.
thing,
I mean, don't take it away from him. Amazing playoff run.
yeah,
But, I
he got
mean,
hot during the playoffs.
Yeah.
But a little bit of luck had to go his way. 4th and 29 against San Diego
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
regular season.
Ray Rice.
And then-
Raheem Moore
And
blowing
then of
that
course the
coverage.
Raheem Moore and the four goal lines the goal line stand against the Niners. I mean, that could have went either way. The pass interference call
Mhm.
at the end, you know, who
But
knows?
to give him credit at that point, whether the Ravens won or lost that game, he was getting paid.
But it's not like he had
Yeah.
a sterling regular season or anything.
Oh, no.
He's a above average quarterback, but I don't know. Everyone's saying he's elite now. I don't know if he's elite. I don't
Mhm.
know, but
Also, it was kind of funny when the NBC crew was talking about the Ravens last night. It was all references to Ravens Broncos last year and the Super Bowl. I don't think that one member of the NBC staff like watched any of their regular season games
no.
because they were 9-7 last year.
Yeah.
And like you said, 9-7 or 10-6, I forget which, and they required a 4th and 29 play to
Yeah.
make the playoffs, on which an illegal block happened that was never called.
Let's
Yeah.
kill. Come
Mhm.
on.
Yeah,
Hey,
Hey,
I have to be the bad guy.
It was all Ray Lewis.
It was all Ray Lewis without him doing the dance and pointing at the sky and,
And being
crying.
5 steps behind every fast player on the field.
Uh-huh.
I mean, is everyone just going to gloss over the fact that he was horrendous last year in the playoffs, and especially in the Super Bowl? He was just embarrassed. Frank Gore would just and Kaepernick would just speed by him, and he would miss so many tackles. I mean, it was just embarrassing.
Well, his physical skills were embarrassing. Against the Pats' hurry-up offense, his skills as a communicator and the ability to set the defense, that was actually very valuable, and that's a skill for which linebackers don't get enough credit for doing. So in that regard, he was very
Right,
valuable.
but they were
whenever when the ball was snapped,
They looked,
Yeah.
they
His
looked
job
pretty
was
bad.
done.
Looked pretty bad against the no huddle without him last night. That's
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest showcase for the difference post Ray Lewis. They don't have anybody to, pick up on certain tendencies, call the right play, get everybody in position. Like you said, I guarantee the Broncos would not be hanging 49 points on the Ravens if Ray Lewis were there.
Mhm.
42 maybe.
Buzzkill. All right, Ray, you're up.
All right.
According to Liam's list, Miami's the top team on the board, but there are a bunch of other teams still out there.
Well, that's funny because my next pick is Miami.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought about taking them last round. Decided to go with Kansas City instead.
Okay.
That's a great pick, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Give
Give
That
me
is a
I'll
very
trade
good
you
pick.
for that pick. 2 for 1.
No. But anyway, yeah, Miami. I like the team this year, and a big reason I'm picking them, since this is a wins pool,
Mm-hmm.
and the goal is to get wins, not necessarily like who's going to the
Wait,
Super
in a
Bowl.
wins pool, the goal is to get teams that
I mean,
win?
I know that's a revolutionary concept. I
Mhm.
just figured it out myself.
Okay.
But after figuring out, spent hours trying to get that down. But now that I got it, I like Miami because the division they play in, they're going to have four games against just awful teams, the Jets and the Bills,
Right.
and someone's got to finish second in that division.
Okay.
And I think look, Miami's not a great team, but I think they're clearly the second best team in the division.
Okay, I could see that.
And they have gone better. I don't think Mike Wallace is a superstar, but he's a good addition. Tannehill, I think, will take a good step up. I've always been kind of a believer in Tannehill. I always had a little more hope in him than
Mhm.
others since the draft.
I've had no hope in Tannehill.
I know you haven't. I was your the counterpoint to your
Mhm.
Tannehill hate. And I don't think he did anything last year to disprove the doubters or the believers, really.
Yeah, he had kind of an average
Yeah,
rookie
he
year.
did all right.
He did kind of exactly what you'd expect.
Yeah. And the defense improved a little bit.
hmm
And
I am concerned that they lost Jake Long, or Chris Long. No, Jake Long.
Jake Long.
Uh,
that was big. Yeah.
because he was. People aren't talking about him enough, but he was like a Hall of Fame left tackle. Like, he's probably been the best offensive lineman in the league for a couple solid years now. That's a huge loss.
Speaking of, like, who did they get to replace him? Did they sign somebody, or is it going to someone like a new guy?
I think it's going to a new guy.
Hmm.
I'll have to look that up for a correction or a kind of an update on the next show. But they I haven't really been paying as close attention as I should have to who's been replacing Jake Long. Um, but you're going with Miami. So Liam has the next two picks on auto pick, and on his wish list he had Pittsburgh.
That's one that could go either way. I don't know if I'm warm.
I think Pittsburgh's 7-9 this year.
I don't know if I'm hot on Pittsburgh or cold on Pittsburgh.
They're an old team.
When
Pittsburgh.
Roethlisberger was healthy last year, though, he was having a really, really good season.
But don't you get the sense that
Really good.
Roethlisberger's just one hit away from breaking? Like,
No.
he's been...
No.
Roethlisberger's a tough guy.
He's
though.
really tough.
I mean, he's really.
No,
He's not
he's-
Michael Vick.
Well, he's bigger than Michael Vick. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Michael Vick's kind
But
of
he's
small.
playing behind an atrocious offensive line. Isaac Redmond's their starting running back.
I like Ike.
No one likes
This is why we have Matt on the podcast, for those random moments where he just delivers some comedy gold. Like, I like...
What's that song? It's the song from the Eisenhower campaign, right?
Everybody likes Ike.
Everybody likes Ike.
For president.
For president and for running back this year of the Steelers. But yes. So Ike's
there.
wandering wild over the league this year.
I don't think so.
Then I don't really know who covers anybody because Troy Polamalu's always hurt. Like, he's hurt more often than he isn't. I think the Steelers
Great
are
hair,
kind of...
though.
He's more focused on those hair
Mhm.
commercials now.
He's
Yeah,
a great piano player,
Spreading the
too.
love. Yeah.
What is the product that he endorses?
I think Just for Men.
Oh, Just for
Alright,
Men.
They're gonna be our first sponsor.
Yeah, Just for Men. We gave you that one for free. That was your first official shout out.
Next
on
one's
the
gonna
Sports
cost
Live. The next one, you had to kick a few bucks our way.
I love the lookings for free, touching's gonna cost you. That's the funniest. But anyway, continue. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
What are you talking about, Matt? I don't
No.
Okay,
no,
Liam's
no.
next pick, Chicago.
know. I like that.
Ooh.
Chicago Bears. They had to play in the NFC North. That's tough. And
Yes, it is.
so I'm gonna look up their schedule. They open home against Cincinnati, which is, I think, a fairly tough game. Cincinnati is kind of they're a good bad team.
Yeah,
Good bad
they're
team.
just not.
9-7, 10 or 6.
Andy Dalton, I don't like.
5
at all.
wins against teams with 6 wins or below.
Yeah.
So Chicago home for Cincy, that's probably a win. Home for Minnesota, I don't think that's a guaranteed win, but that could be a win because for some reason Minnesota always plays them tough. At Pittsburgh, that could be a win. And at Detroit, they could start out 3-0 or 4-0 potentially to start the season.
I believe in the Lions this year, though.
Oh,
So,
that's true.
Maybe they split the Lions.
Maybe they split with the Lions. Okay, so 3-1.
Let's say they split with the Lions and split with the Vikings, and then they are beaten by the Packers twice.
All right. They have New Orleans on the
Actually, no,
schedule.
they always play the Pack tough also, don't they? They always seem to
Mhm.
split with the Pack
Yeah.
also.
Yeah. I think it's the Lions that ends up going drastically in one direction or the other. Because I remember on the Lions' good year, 2011, one game was that Monday nighter that the Lions beat them like 28-10 in, and the other one the Bears just completely ran them off the field and won like 38-6. So let's see, Bears home for New Orleans, home for New York, at Washington, at Green Bay, home for Baltimore, at St. Wow, they almost don't have a easy game on this schedule. Maybe you could argue that at Cleveland and at Philly are easy games, depending on where they are at that point in the season. But wow, there are no pushovers on the Bears' schedule. There's nobody in the bottom. Let's see, they only get to play, I think, something like one of the Liam's bottom 10 teams in one game this year. That's it. So the Bears have a tough schedule. All right, Ray, you have the next pick. First, the top team available on the board is St. Louis.
I know who I'd be going for.
Why are you gonna make me look not so creative here? Because I am going St. Louis.
Okay,
Going
St.
with
Louis.
his top team again, but Look, this is a situation where it's going to be tough for them to get a lot of wins because they play in a tough division. But honestly, I'm just picking who I think is the best team left. I
Oh,
think St. Louis has the most talent on there.
all right.
Jake Long, we were just talking about Jake Long. He's going to improve that offensive line.
They have Chris Long also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Two
they do.
longs.
Yeah. Sam Bradford, maybe finally will get a chance to shine now that he has a really
Uh-huh.
great pass blocker.
Yeah, because Sam Bradford's offensive line has been just
Yeah.
awful. Like, I've actually felt pretty bad for Sam Bradford because we just don't know how good he really is because he's got
Mhm.
no help whatsoever.
Yeah. So I think he'll get some help there.
Mhm.
I think Tavon Austin, we were talking about him before the
Yes.
show too. You said next Percy Harvin.
Next person, Irvin. I think that Tavon Austin is representative of the future of the NFL. Just somebody who can take 5 or 10 carries as a running back, get 5 or 6 targets as a wide receiver, maybe even line up at quarterback for a play or two. But he's not Tim Tebow. He's not the kind of a gimmick player. He really can do all these things, and he has the speed and the acceleration to make defenses really respect him. I'm really excited to see what he can do this season.
Mhm. I'd also point to their defense as a
Mhm.
little bit of an underrated good
Chris Long and
defense.
Robert Quinn, they're two very good pass rushers.
Cortland
yeah.
Finnegan, good on the
Uh-huh.
outside there.
Cortland Finnegan, both good on the outside and probably one of the league's most renowned trash talkers of all time, which
Yeah.
Does what he has to do.
I don't think is ever a bad thing to have on. Is a good trash talker ever a bad thing to have on your team?
Well, the Eagles have had some troubles in
Mhm.
recent days with Kerry Williams on the team.
Oh yeah, Kerry Williams and Riley Cooper getting
Yeah,
into an
getting into it.
altercation. So that's obviously been all over the news.
That was going to happen at some
Mhm.
point. But,
Yeah,
So it can backfire a little.
and
bit,
I
but-
think that Riley Cooper and an opposing player, probably somebody on the Cowboys or the Giants, is probably going to get into it at least once this season
No, I
because obviously his comments were made known to everybody. So actually, there was a Cowboy. I think it might have been Anthony Spencer. I'm not positive though. Who
Maybe it was Anthony Jeselnik. I
It's
think he
Anthony
was the guy.
Anthony Jeselnik.
I couldn't tell he was wearing a helmet. I couldn't see his ugly face, so.
All right, but it was some cowboy who specifically said, I'll remember those comments when I see him on the field.
Oh.
So obviously there are guys who kind of have Riley Cooper circled and have the day where they play the Eagles kind of filled in on their calendar, kind of as a game to, well, look out for, if that's probably the best way I can put it. But
Sure.
Ray taking St. Louis. I'm up next. I am going to take Tampa Bay.
Wow.
I'm taking Tampa.
Hmm.
And this is
Not so sure.
Tough division. The Panthers taking a step forward.
Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman stinks.
I still believe in Josh Freeman.
Really? When's the time to stop believing? I mean,
Yeah.
come on.
I stopped believing in him when I stopped believing in Santa Claus.
Really? You stopped believing in Josh Freeman like even before he arrived at Kansas State?
Maybe Matt.
First rule of improv, Goldstein.
Yes, and.
You've forgotten it.
All right. Well, Tampa Bay like what they're doing on offense. Think that Doug Martin's a very, very big asset. Like their offensive line. Vincent Jackson really showed us something last year. Obviously, it declined in the last 2 years in San Diego, but he kind of quietly rose back to the top last year. Mike Williams, very underrated second receiver. The run defense was fantastic. Bring in guys like Darrell Revis to improve the secondary. I think that this is going to be a very quietly good team. I could definitely see them going 8-8. So, as I'm obliged to do in situations like this, I have to look up the schedule. Go down to Tampa Bay here. Wait for it to load, and here we go. So, at New York, that's a gimme road game. Like, you couldn't ask for an easier road game to open the season. Home for New Orleans. They beat New Orleans once last year.
Not this year, though. Sorry. New Orleans is going to go like 14-2 this year.
Oh, no way. 14-2.
I see them doing the post Spygate
No,
thing.
their defense is still just pure Swiss cheese.
So what? I see them.
100%.
I see them scoring like 40 points a game though, so it doesn't matter.
That's what we said last year, and it worked. What, they were 8-8? Come on. They'll
We
improve.
didn't. No one said that last year. Everyone was like, they're totally
11 and
screwed.
5.
So
11 and 5 is.
I think
No.
they're going to have a very solid, very
no.
good year. I don't think
say
they're going to be great.
they go fu post Spygate year. That's what I see happening.
What was the post Spygate year?
They went 18-1 that year.
Oh well then. Okay,
Yeah.
so they lost in the Super Bowl. Big whoop.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying the New Orleans is gonna go like 15-1 this year.
All right,
And
well,
then-
And then lose.
well,
the
Tampa
Super
Bay
Bowl
only
the
has
New
to
York
play
Giants?
2
Maybe.
games against them, so they got Arizona at home. That's fairly easy.
I like the Cards this
Home,
year.
home for Philly. That's not too bad.
The Philly is
Ca-
gonna be amazing.
Carolina,
this
they
year.
could at least split with. I feel like they can at least split with Atlanta. They have the talent to do that. Do we all agree that
They've
Atlanta's
got
taking
tough
a step
schedule.
back
They've
into
got a tough schedule.
Alright,
Their
home for
schedule's
Buffalo?
tough.
That's another one
I
they
like
could win.
Atlanta.
Home for Miami.
They've only got really 3 gimmies I see on the list right now.
But I feel like that's absolutely a team that could go 8-8. And in the 6th round of an NFL wins pool draft, that's not bad.
all right,
All right. So,
Matt,
Matt,
Pat
you're on the
yourself on
board.
the back there, Andrew.
give me the Cards.
all right.
I want the Cardinals of Arizona.
Cardinals
Not
of
the Cardinals
Arizona.
of St. Louis. That's a different sport.
Yes.
And listen, Carson Palmer.
Alright.
I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's the greatest, but of course anybody at this point would be an upgrade from what the Cardinals had last year.
That was brutal. You had the carousel of John Skelton, Kevin Cobb, and
And
Ryan Lindley.
and
Oh,
their defense
jeez.
their defense is actually pretty good. So
Mhm. Their defense really, like Patrick Peterson, he's the guy. He's the corner that nobody ever talks about. Everybody talks about
oh, he's
Revis.
a
Everybody
star. He's an
talks
absolute
about
star.
Richard Sherman. Nobody talks about Patrick Peterson.
Yeah, their defense. Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Guys like Calais Campbell too.
Yeah, they're an 8-8 team. And listen, they play in one of the easiest divisions in football. So
I disagree with that.
oh, sorry,
That's like the hardest
No,
thing.
no, no.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the AFC West. I'm
and you're
sorry,
thinking
I'm
of
sorry.
the NFC West of 2
Yeah,
years
yeah,
ago.
yeah. I'm thinking of the old NFC West. Yeah. Okay.
Back in the old days when whoever played the NFC West and was a good team just got 4 free wins on
Yeah,
their schedule.
All right, so yeah, I'm going to the Cards, and then to come back,
In the 7th round now.
I'm buying into your hype, and I'm picking Cleveland.
Uh,
Gotta do it.
I hate you so much.
Got to do it. You're the one that's been talking them up.
yeah, it's your own fault, Andrew.
It's your own fault.
Well,
It's like in a poker game. You don't go like, oh my god, look at these
Yeah,
cards.
you
I
showed your
got."
hand, and I just bought you out or bluffed you out. I'm not exactly sure what the
Andrew
term
was
is.
bleeding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Andrew was bleeding, and I think the Browns are the last team left that is even
They have a great defense.
the least bit appealing,
Good defense,
Great.
good management.
and they're gonna hand the ball off to about 500 times to Trent Richardson.
Exactly.
so-
And plus, the most underrated thing about them, no more Pat Shurmur.
That's
no
right.
more.
That's right. That's
And-
right. Who'd they replace him with?
They replaced him with Rob Chudzinski.
Wow.
Just
upgrade.
look, I'd be an upgrade over Pat Shurmur.
Oh,
Like,
strong
Hey,
words.
he's in the Eagles
I
organization.
happen to be
now.
friends with Pat Shurmur,
Yeah.
so
look, the piece of paper that I'm holding would be an upgrade over Pat Shurmur.
Oh
So rude.
man.
And
And
so-
Anthony Jeselnik taking.
Yeah, Andrew's hit list is growing.
Yeah, man.
First Anthony Jeselnik and now Pat Shurmur. So
They'll remember this when you're trying to break into show business.
Yeah.
and
you-
Pat Shurmur blocks me.
Roast of Andrew Goldstein.
Yeah,
Jeselnik's
no.
just gonna unload.
Pat Shurmur's going to be running ESPN at this point, into the ground, may I add, but still. And your application's gonna come up, and denied. He's gonna have to hire Anthony Jeselnik instead. It's just that's how it works.
All right, Cleveland, new coach, great defense, good new GM and team president. Trent Richardson's gonna get the ball a ton of times, and we're ignoring the fact that Brandon Whedon and Norv Turner have combined forces to run an offense.
Norv is a good offensive.
He is a good
coordinator
offensive coordinator.
and an atrocious head coach.
Uh-huh.
So as
That-
long as you keep him from making
That said, I'm dreading the day when the Jets hire him after they fire Rex. I know it's coming.
I think Romeo Crennel's available. You want to call him?
Don't
up.
even.
Oh,
say
Raheem
those
Morris
words.
also.
Don't even say those words. And also, thank God that Baltimore took Jim Caldwell off the market, so the Jets couldn't extend an offer to him when Rex gets fired.
Yeah, I think that may have been the most unbelievable thing about the Ravens Super Bowl run is
That they
Jim
fired an
Caldwell.
offensive coordinator 3/4 of the way through the season, replaced him with Jim Caldwell, and they went on a run to the Super Bowl.
I know.
Who knew?
Who knew?
All right,
Mhm.
so now I just have pure rubbish left to choose from. So thanks for stealing Cleveland.
Get out of here.
You know what? San Diego.
The Superchargers.
San Diego Superchargers. All right. And here's why I make this pick. They're playing 2 games against Oakland, one of the worst teams in the league. They've got 2 games against the Chiefs, who, assuming they aren't a sleeper and assuming they're just
They're stars. They're a star this year, the Chiefs.
all right. Well, let's take a look at the schedule here. They have 2 games against
God,
Oakland.
it's amazingly hard. Houston, Philly, Tennessee, Dallas, Brooklyn, Indianapolis,
Jacksonville.
Okay, it looks like every other game is easy. Never mind.
All right, and at Miami, that I feel like Miami's not as good as everybody says they are.
No one's saying they're good. No one is coming out and saying Miami is good.
I saw
Except for Liam, apparently.
30. Actually, ESPN released their projections of 35 experts making their picks. 20 of them predicted Miami would be in the playoffs.
That's because the AFC is as weak as it's ever been. There's about
Yeah.
4 teams at the top of the AFC that are any good.
3 of them
And
predicted
that's
them
why
to
you
win the
choose
AFC
them.
East.
That's why you choose them in a wins pool. You know?
3 of them predicted Miami
They're
would
not
win
the
the
best- they're
AFC
not gonna win the
East. You
Super
scared
Bowl.
of that?
Yeah, I'm frightened. I'm
You're frightened
shaking
by-
in my boots here.
You're frightened by Ryan Tannehill and Mike Wallace.
Oh, you
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah,
All right, so let's
And
say
Devon Bess. Wait, is he still there? He might not
I
be,
don't
actually.
I don't know. No, I don't think he is. I think he's on the Cowboys maybe.
He was
I
a
don't
man.
know.
I like Devon Bess.
I always thought he was talented.
Yeah,
but
good luck to you, wherever you are.
well,
Yeah.
here's one thing I don't like about the Chargers' schedule. I'm counting 5 games where they have to travel east for 1 o'clock games.
No, those are bad though.
West to
Yeah,
east for
those are
1 o'clock
bad.
games never work out well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
so
right.
Are
You're
they
right
afraid
about
to
that.
fly? Like, do they have to take the bus? Is it like a real
No,
long
it's just
trip?
their
no,
schedule.
it's like the whole West East Coast dynamic.
Alright.
All right, so
The Chargers
yeah,
are just awful to watch too. By the way, they're really awful to watch. If you've ever watched a Chargers game, it's
Yeah,
just
no,
like
last
oh
year
And
was-
also, I feel like
God.
watching Philip Rivers might be even more frustrating at this point than watching Mark Sanchez, because at least with watching Mark Sanchez, you come in with no expectations
and
that
you
he'll
get
be good.
unintentional comedy too.
Yeah, but with Philip Rivers, you feel like, all right, he was good in 2007, he was really good in 08. It feels like he should be good,
Yeah.
but he keeps throwing dumb interceptions, or he keeps turning
Well,
the ball over.
I mean, I watched a
Right.
decent amount of Chargers games last year because I had Antonio Gates on my fantasy
Mhm.
team. And the offensive line he had to work with was
That's true.
just awful.
That is
I mean,
true.
They're an awful team though.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean just to
Yeah.
watch, their offense is excruciatingly vanilla.
Oh no, they're
It's so
terrible.
vanilla.
Honest, personally, I'd have them way lower than you chose them. They might be like my second to last pick. in the
Yeah.
draft.
No, there are. I think that Oakland, Jacksonville, and Jets, they're worse than San Diego.
Well, anyway, Ray's got a pick now, right?
Ray, you have Minnesota, Tennessee, Oakland, Buffalo, Jacksonville, and the Jets left to choose from.
All right, so I saw the teams that were left. Can't say I feel great about any of them, so I did a little research on one team. And I think I'm going to go Tennessee Titans.
Ooh.
They play in a rather weak division.
True.
I'm looking through some of their moves here, their offseason, and they did some good stuff. They brought in Bernard Pollard.
The Hitman.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I mean, not good for Matt.
Tennessee at New England.
oh, no.
Week 1 of the playoffs.
Greg Williams is defensive coordinator.
And-
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
All right,
And the only guy, Bernard Pollard, hasn't taken out yet, Bill Belichick.
No.
you know what? Every team needs a shtick, so maybe they'll become the bad boys Pistons of the NFL. Who knows?
With one guy, Bernard Pollard.
and
He's
and Greg
the worst.
Williams.
well, and Greg Williams. Yeah, that's true.
Sean
Keep
Green.
forgetting about him.
Sean Green brought in to complement Chris Johnson. I don't think Sean Green's a feature back.
he's
proved that
he's a
with, like-
third down back.
Goldstein
Yeah,
can
that's
tell
it.
you all about Sean Green.
Yeah, but I think he could be a good.
He's a
he's a
good
good-
third down change of
yeah,
pace
he
back.
could become the new Lendale White.
Yeah,
Remember
he
that
can. Yeah,
combination?
he can block, and he's good for like 10, 15 carries a game down in short yardage
Who
situations.
doesn't remember Lendale White?
The
Hey,
Lendale White?
He,
That's
he
right.
honestly used to be a fantasy
He-
superstar.
He did. He was a touchdown vulture.
First round pick. I think I picked him first overall, Lendell White. He was a
Mhm.
superstar. You're right.
Also here we got Andy Levitre. I might be saying that name wrong.
It's probably Levitre.
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 Yeah, that's actually probably it. But so I don't really know who he is. But
Hey, he's
He's friends
He's
with
good
Joe
that-
Mozzarella.
but they brought him in to shore up the offensive line, which is always a good thing.
all right.
And I like Jake Locker more
I know
than
that
most
Andy
people.
Levitre got a pretty big contract. It was something like 4 years, 20-some million, which is pretty big for an offensive lineman. So, yeah, it is.
Well, everyone
Oh,
knows
it probably
huge
is.
contracts to offensive linemen always work.
Well,
Every time.
you know,
No
this
exceptions.
it signifies that they
It's
saw
just science.
something in
It's
Andy
science
Le-
at this
science.
point.
And hey, he was blocking for 1,000-yard rushers in Buffalo, and Fred Jackson, and CJ.
Jackson.
Fred Jackson. Yep.
What are you trying?
Hmm
Yeah.
What do you
I
think
am-
about Jake Locker though? Because I actually kind of like him.
He showed flashes. He's got flashes of brilliance in there.
Combined with lots of flashes of not brilliance.
No, but he was hurt a lot also. You
That's
haven't
true.
really seen his full potential, I don't think.
And I don't think you're gonna see it with this particular team because he has nobody to throw to.
Kenny Britt, who's going to be hurt week 2.
He's gonna be hurt, then
Classic
suspended.
Kenny Britt.
Yeah.
Although he'll have one fantasy game where he scores like 35 points.
Yeah, and
Uh-huh.
everyone's like, oh, I'm back in, and then
Yeah.
he gets hurt. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Every time I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
Boy, that's a great
my best
Pacino.
Al Pacino.
And from the best movie too. Wow.
The Godfather
That's-
Part 3, the greatest of
Yeah.
all the Godfathers.
What a great part. The
All
other
right.
two were so
They were
not a lot of laughs.
inconsequential.
Only like 2 major laughs in the first 2 ones.
Are you
Third
just
one.
this whole podcast has turned into just office quotes.
All right, I said one office quote or 2.
Too.
I mean that's
I don't remember Pacino ever being on The Office.
no, it's All
right,
never
it's
mind.
Liam's pick.
It would take too much time to explain Michael's love of Godfather 3.
All right, it's Liam's pick. He's taking back to back. Oh, what's his pen on that?
Mini.
Yeah, he's taking Minnesota.
Taking a big step back this year, I
Yeah.
think.
Although, you know, he has Adrian Peterson among the players on the teams in his wins pool, so that's never a bad thing.
Sure.
And he's taking Oakland.
Oh.
Sorry, I have to say it like Chris Berman at all times. The Raiders.
That's
Now
right.
this is the Swami's picks.
What would Al Pacino sound like saying that?
I can't do an Al Pacino. I
Aw.
tried. Hooah!
No.
That's
Whoa.
that sounds even
Wow.
less.
Wow. Yeah, no, that was actually really good.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, I can't do it. But yeah.
John, you got a big mouth. I can't
The
say
Raiders are the greatest. That didn't make any sense, did it?
No,
He's an absentee landlord.
everything that these two people have said for the last 20 minutes makes no
Patel?
sense. Okay,
Ramadan Patel?
so do you like the picks here, Minnesota and Oakland? I mean, they're
They're okay.
essentially all we have left at this point.
They're aight.
So now we have to choose between the 3 most horrifying teams in the league:
right.
Buffalo, Jacksonville, and the Jets.
I know who I
I'm
want.
up first, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't do it.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm picking. Who you think I am?
Don't.
I'm going Buffalo.
Oh, okay, good.
Not the Jets.
I want
Because
the Jets so
honestly,
bad.
when I see it, I think Buffalo and Jets, talent wise, I think they're probably around even.
Uh-huh.
But I think the Bills have that hint of upside in EJ Manuel. If he turns
And with
out to
CJ
be
Spiller.
Yeah, they've been.
Oh, yeah.
And
CJ
Stevie
Spiller,
Johnson too. Is a
They have
good
2
receiver.
guys who can
Well-
completely change the game with one
I don't know if
play.
Stevie Johnson has much upside. I think we know.
No,
what
but
he
he's a
is.
good receiver.
But yeah, he's a
though.
good player.
He's better than anyone they have on the
Um,
Jets. Believe
yeah.
you me.
Of course, CJ Spiller is fantastic, and yeah, I mean, if EJ Manuel turns out to be a good quarterback, they can get maybe 7 wins.
Mm-hmm. All right,
It's not out
I
of the
can see
question.
that.
And honestly, I don't think it's out of the question that the Jets get 7 wins, but they have. I mean, Geno Smith, I'm not buying.
Oh, I'm not buying him either. I'm buying Matt Sims. Hashtag free
All
Matt
right,
Sims.
You
Follow-
can hold on to that all you want.
I will hold on to that all I want. In fact, I'll do that so much so that I'll take the Jets with the next pick.
Oh, that was all me right there.
Well, you took the Browns, so I had to do this as retribution.
That's
Take
fair.
the Jets.
That's a fair trade.
All right, that is a fair trade, and you end up with Jacksonville.
Ah,
It's your last pick.
Well, listen,
Congratulations.
that's you know, as
Who-
far as
and they're going to take an extra year to figure out what they have in Blaine Gabbert.
yeah, as far as last picks in the draft go, though, and it's not the worst.
I still like MGD.
I like MJD
Oh,
better
what
than
did I say? Did I say
MGD.
GD? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Sorry, Maurice. Jones, Drew, not Gomes.
He's
I'm
going
sorry.
through. All right,
Go
so
me!
so now that we have finished the NFL wins pool, it's time to wrap this thing up with week 1 picks.
Are we sure we have time? I mean, we're a little bit over.
I mean that's fine. We don't have anywhere to go like last time. We don't have a fantasy football draft to
Speak for yourself. Andy.
hastily calibrate the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi for.
I've got a huge end of the summer party going
I'm
on.
going to a dinner party with Brad Pitt, George Clooney.
Yeah.
The whole Ocean's crew is showing up.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm going with Anthony Jeselnik. So
Okay.
You guys will never get over that
No.
Anthony Jeselnik thing.
M. Night is coming to mind.
No. um,
No.
all right.
Matt wasn't here for that, unfortunately.
We had to get that drop if we ever figure out how to get drops.
Yeah.
Okay. So Patriots Bills. I think that one's pretty obvious.
Yep. Okay, moving on.
Pats.
All right.
Bengals Bears.
Bengals,
Give me
Bears.
the Bears because they're at home.
All right. I'm gonna take the Bengals just to be contrarian,
I'll
and also
go
because I like AJ Green.
Bengals. I'll go Bengals as well. I really buy the Bengals this year.
All right. Dolphins Browns.
Give me the Browns.
Yep, me too. I think the Browns are gonna be a little bit frisky coming out of the gate here. I think that their defense is really gonna hold the Dolphins. They could stick Joe Hayden on Mike Wallace, and I think that Paul Kruger is gonna get some pressure on Tannehill. I like what the Browns are gonna do. They're gonna win it 10-6.
Wow. Okay. Let's see. Browns are at home. I agree with everything you just said. I'll go Browns.
All right, Vikings Lions. You're up on the Lions, Matt.
I'm a Lions fanboy, and I'm riding them all season. So give me the Lions.
I'm gonna take the Vikings because it seems like every time I start believing in the Lions, they do something dumb, and I can't explain. It's just something that's happened over the last couple of years. They've had a couple of bad losses to the Vikings. They've dropped some winnable games. I'm gonna take the Vikings. I like the Lions too. I think this is just a wrong matchup for them. I think that Adrian Peterson's gonna go off.
Lions are at home. I think they're pretty evenly matched teams. Lions are maybe a little better, so I'll go Lions.
All right, Raiders Colts. Everybody here in agreement on the Colts?
Yes.
Ooh, interesting. Falcons Saints.
Oh.
This is our first really good game.
I say Saints because I'm a big believer in them. Again, doing the post Spygate thing, post Bounty Gate thing. So
I think, yeah, me too.
they're and Falcons.
I think they're gonna regress.
Yeah, they're gonna regress.
Well, I'm going Falcons.
I'm going Saints.
This is going to be a pure shootout. The Saints, Swiss cheese again. Awful.
I say Julio Jones is a terrible game.
Julio
this
Jones is
game.
going to get like 250 yards receiving. Roddy will add another 100 just for kicks. This is going to be a shootout. 42-35. Atlanta wins.
42-35. Interesting.
Drew
Okay.
Brees throws 3 picks. No, he doesn't.
Okay.
2 picks.
Bucks Jets. I think we can all agree on Bucks here.
Yes.
I'd love to say otherwise, but Bucks. The Jets
Yeah.
are hopeless.
Wouldn't be shocked if the Jets win.
I wouldn't be shocked either,
Just
but
because.
I'd be shocked.
they've got to show. Put it to you this way: with what's been going on with the Jets recently, they've got to show me something substantial before I'm back in on them. Titans Steelers.
I was gonna say, definitely the Steelers, but I realized the Steelers aren't any good anymore. So, but I'm still gonna take them, Steelers.
Yeah, I feel like. Actually, you know what? Screw it. Titans. I feel like their offensive line is rebuilt enough, and that Chris Johnson's gonna have one long run. I feel like the good karma finally getting Chris Palmer out of that offensive coordinator job is gonna have a pretty pronounced effect on the Titans. Like you mentioned, Kenny Britt's back. Jake Locker's probably gonna have a long completion. I like the Titans.
I'll also go with the Titans. The Steelers' offense is just really in shambles right now. Their running back is Isaac Redman, who has disappointed fantasy owners maybe 3 straight years.
Mm-hmm.
And
Not this year though.
yeah, no, this is the year he doesn't.
This is the year for Reich.
No, this the year he can't disappoint me because I don't have him on my team and I'm not expecting
Isn't
a
that
single
another
thing.
guy you started a lot?
Yeah,
last
Isaac
year?
Redman. hmm
Yikes.
By the
Okay.
way, he beat me out to make the playoffs with that team. So
It was just Robert Griffin,
Ugh.
yeah, RG3.
RG3, Arian Foster, and like one other guy that I forget just carrying me all
Yeah,
the
you
way.
passed on RG3's this to me this year. So,
Mhm.
all right. Anyway, though, I like the Titans. I talked about why I like them. I'm picking it.
All right, this is another interesting one. Seahawks at the Panthers.
This is the game I'm really excited for.
I think the Panthers are going to pull this one out.
Yeah,
Then I
was-
think the Seahawks are going to go into FU mode after this, but I feel like the Panthers are going to surprise them.
I was thinking that also, but I'm thinking the Seahawks.
I'm also thinking.
I love the
Seahawks.
Panthers, but Seahawks. Come
Yeah.
on now.
No,
I think that they're first of all, you have the West Coast team traveling east effect. You have
Isn't it week? I mean, does it matter if it's week 1? I mean, does that matter?
yeah, that does matter unless they're arriving there early, and I think that the NFL has certain regulations on like when travel times are and everything.
Okay.
They have the West Coast team traveling east. They've I feel like maybe there might be a little bit of hangover from last season because they ended it really hot and they're a young team. I feel like they're the type of team that needs to lose a rough game before they kind of fully wake up and start just killing everybody.
Listen, I think this game is much closer than people would think.
Yes.
But
I feel like
still-
the Panthers are at least going to play them close.
Yeah, I still think the Hawks are going to pull this one out, though.
I'm with Matt on that one.
All right. Chiefs at the Jaguars.
Oh, come on.
Chiefs.
It's got to be the Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Cardinals at the Rams. 425.
This is another one that's just like, it could go really either way, I think, because,
I'll
well,
go
we haven't
Rams.
really seen what Carson Palmer can.
I feel like the Rams.
Yeah.
Definitely Rams. Let's go Rams.
Rams.
Go Rams.
I
You know
like-
what? I'm gonna go the Cardinals.
Really?
Yeah.
No, you just waited for us to say Rams, and then ultimate contrarian over here is like, oh yeah, Cardinals.
Cardinals. Got it.
Okay, Packers, Niners.
Niners.
Absolutely.
Niners.
The Niners are just,
The Niners.
the Niners are just a much more physical team. They've beaten up on the Packers twice
I left
last
my
season.
heart in sand.
Oh, good
No.
stuff.
If you're expecting intelligent football analysis, folks, I'm dearly sorry.
You were clearly listening. You clearly weren't listening to the show up to this point. If you were expecting that.
All right, 8:30 p.m. Giants at the Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Carrie Underwood will be opening.
It's
Uh,
NFL Sunday on Sunday night, or football on
Oh
Sunday
my
night.
God.
I need her voice. That's what I need.
Yeah,
Just for singing purposes.
Before
Like,
he
it'll,
cheats.
yeah.
There it is.
Okay,
Did she have
Giant.
another one too? Like,
She's had a lot. She's very
whatever kill
successful.
you makes you stronger, or that's the other.
No, that's
chick
Kelly
from American
Clarkson.
Idol. They're the same to me. But
All right.
whatever.
Giants at the Cowboys. I can't decide which one I like. I kind of like the Giants though.
No one likes the
No.
Giants.
I mean, NFC East
4-0
battles.
in Jerry World.
In an NFC East battle, I'll usually go home team. Although I'm about to break down the next pick, so just ignore that.
Give them the Cowboys.
So yeah, I'll go Cowboys here.
All right, now we're into the Monday night games. Eagles at the Redskins.
All right, like I said, I'm gonna ignore what I just said, and now I'm gonna take the road team, the Eagles, because I don't want to have to root against the Eagles.
I'm taking the Eagles also because the Chip Kelly offense is going to catch everybody completely off guard.
That's a
the
good point,
Redskins are going to
actually.
be
Yeah.
totally unprepared and just totally surprised,
Flabbergasted.
flabbergasted,
There it is.
flabbergasted by the offense. And I think it's going to be Michael Vick. It's going to be like that Redskins game in 2010.
I'm
Oh, I
gonna
hope so.
52
that was
points
the
or
most
something.
fun game ever.
go the other way. Remember last year when
Different
Hey.
year, different coach. Sorry, Charles.
It's a new year, Andrew.
no
New year,
no
new day, new
what I'm
dollar.
saying is remember last year when Peyton Manning came back and it took like 4 or 5 weeks for him to really get back into the offense. I feel like it's the same thing here. I feel like
For
Chip-
RG3?
no, for the Eagles. I feel like Chip Kelly's system won't really be perfected until week 5, week 6, something like that. If you're installing a completely new system, you always have 1 or 2 games where everything just looks like a wreck.
You are aware that your Peyton Manning argument works for RG3 also.
Yeah, but they're running the same scheme.
He's still.
Yeah, but
he
The
still
thing is,
doesn't-
RG3, like, if you remember week 1 of last year, they didn't have him do anything extravagant then either. His first 7 or 8 throws were behind the line of scrimmage. It's not like Peyton Manning where, they were asking him to throw 30-yard rainbows again. It's
Did Peyton Manning play in the preseason
I
that
like
year?
it that year. I don't think he did.
Because Michael Vick and Nick Foles played, and they played pretty well with the new Chip Kelly
Vic
offense.
was really good.
Yeah.
But I'm
Some turnovers, which has been their
But I know
bugaboo.
that Chip Kelly probably did this because I've read the autobiography of Rex Ryan and a couple of other coaches, and they admit to doing this. They said that the schemes they use in the preseason are deliberately nothing like what they use in the regular season, so they could throw other teams off the scent. And I feel like that's maybe what Chip Kelly did. I think he
Well,
actually
regardless,
probably went
Michael
to.
Vick looked good. So
Or how about
Mm.
this? Everybody's expecting the scheme that they use to not be the same one that they use in the regular season,
and then they just use the same
but they use the
exact
same
plays.
one, throwing the team off even more.
But then
That's-
everybody's expecting them to use that, what is it? Counter psychology?
Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology. So they would employ reverse psychology.
Oh,
I could
stop.
keep this going all day.
Really? Really?
I have to be that guy. All right. 10:15 p.m. Texans at the Chargers.
I think we are
Wow.
going Texans.
That'll
here,
probably be
right?
the least watched game in NFL
Oh
history.
God, I couldn't even imagine watching that.
All right,
Go
just
Texans.
2-yard run Arian Foster, 4-yard run Ryan Matthews, play action dump off with Matt Schaub.
Ryan Matthews hurt.
Check
Ryan
down
Matthews
from
hurt.
Philip Rivers.
Check down for Philip Rivers.
He's a check down machine. I've
All-
never seen more check downs than from Philip Rivers.
Well, also the problem with Philip Rivers is all of his routes are designed to be deep balls. A lot of them are, but his offensive line has just been so atrocious that he's had to check it down.
That's the problem with Philip Rivers, not that he throws like a girl.
Well, that's another problem. There are a lot of problems with Philip Rivers. This is just one of them.
Or that he's a hothead that just yells at everyone for no reason.
hmm
Yeah.
So I'm going Texans. I'm
We're all going
debating on whether to watch that game or not. Probably not, but maybe.
You're gonna stay up till like 1 o'clock in the morning to
No,
finish
I'm-
up that game, really?
Oh no, I'm not watching the whole game, just a little bit, like maybe the first quarter. All right, well, I think that's all we had to cover today. Longest show ever, hour and 17 minutes, hour and 20 minutes.
Sports Live Deluxe Edition. I like it.
Deluxe edition, okay.
And this was a part of a two-parter, so I mean, really, if you combine the two parts, this is a ton
Mammoth.
of material. Yeah, don't expect anything else from us for like 3 weeks. To
Yeah,
make
we're-
up for it.
We're going on vacation. No, really, we're gonna be back here next to. At least I hope we are, because school is starting on Monday.
Let's say tentatively on Tuesday. I might, new school year.
You might have to blow off your homework to do
No,
this.
no,
but-
yeah, I
Homework
mean,
on the second day of school.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I don't.
No, but there's a ton of logistical stuff to do when school starts. It's like
yeah,
sign
yeah.
this, fill out this
Let's,
get to know you
uh,
sheet that I'll never look at.
Well, that's like that's 2 minutes. Come on.
Well, I mean, like just getting acclimated to the new school year.
Uh-huh.
Let's say tentatively for Tuesday, but definitely for Friday.
Right, and you can follow all the scheduling changes on our Facebook page, AM Sports Live, Twitter at AM Sports Live 1, email questions, amsportslive@gmail.com, and be sure to like the National Sports channel on both Spreaker and YouTube. So, any last words, fellas?
Well, I think I made some good picks here, and I'm looking forward to next week's show.
All right. Actually, before we wrap up the show, we should probably just do a quick review of who everybody has. Matt has Denver, Houston, Philly, Detroit, Carolina, Arizona, Cleveland, Jacksonville. I have Seattle, New Orleans, Baltimore, Dallas, Giants, Jets, Tampa Bay, San Diego. Ray has San Francisco, Atlanta, Cincy, Kansas City, Miami, St. Louis, Tennessee, Buffalo. And Liam has Green Bay, New England, Indy, Washington, Pittsburgh, Chicago, Minnesota, Oakland.
You should be an auctioneer.
Yeah.
Yes.
$500, Denver. Going
I
once,
like
going
my,
twice.
I like my picks. I like them more.
All right. Well, this is going to be a very interesting season. And we hope that you will stay with AM Sports Live for all of it and beyond. So thank you very much for listening. And we hope you come back. But for now, your September 6th edition of AM Sports Live is now off the air.